All right, what's going on, everybody? Jay's here again. We're back with another coffee Q&A with Matt from Park and Park. How you doing, Matt?
Yo, I'm good.
Excellent, excellent. So the reason that Matt's here and the reason we're doing this cupping is because a couple weeks ago we were doing this event at Vent, right?
Event,
exactly. And so Bethany from Gold Mountain Coffee Growers gave us some samples for us to cup and check out just to get an introduction to our coffee. So instead of us just doing this alone in a hole in private, I figured we'd come out and share with all of you a little bit about cupping. These kind of cuppings, like as you can see, there are 5 different coffees or 5 different samples here. And the 5 coffees, they're just one sample of each, right? And so typically if you're really critically tasting coffees, you're going to do multiple samples. A true full critical cupping will have 5 samples of each coffee. A lot of times we'll just do 3. In this case, we're just going to do 1, and that's going to give us just an introduction to their coffees, just to give us a basic idea of what their coffees are about, the kind of coffees they offer. You said Bethany emailed us?
Yes, she emailed us.
What'd she say?
I think basically, keep in mind while cupping that they shine best at 2 weeks, and I guess some of these are at like 3 to 4 weeks.
Oh, right. This
which to me, I mean, not that bad.
No. I think that a lot of coffees will be fine, even up to a month or 2 out. But what I've done is I've taken the coffees and we put them into. Ooh, is that right? These are our coffees, and as you can see, there are tags that identify them, but for our tasting, I figured we wouldn't show any of the tags so that we wouldn't have a bias. But as you can see, this one 8.9, roasted at 8.5, 8.6, 8.23, and 8.23. So there's a little bit of a spread, but that should be fine. They're relatively lightly roasted, which is good. The actual dosings are a little bit different than what we would normally have at Spro. At Spro, we normally do 13 for these 9-ounce cups. But here we've got 14, 14, 14, 12, and 12. And they are accurate to, I measured them before I ground them. So as you can see, they're all ground. And relatively light. These two are a little bit darker than the others. Mm-hmm. Right? This one's on the lighter side. Mom, how you doing? Good to see you, man. And so the first thing that people do when you're tasting coffee is that you're going to smell the fragrance. So we're going to take our coffee and inhale deeply. Ooh, there's some nice notes there.
Mm-hmm.
Now, one thing that you want to be careful with whenever you're cupping with other people is that, and even by yourself, you don't want to mix the order, right? Otherwise, these had some nice aromas.
Yes, some different. I'm not used to
this one. I have the really pretty.
It's like
sweetness.
It's like a garden.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, these two are.
I think when it comes to fragrance, I like this one the most.
Yeah, it's kind of like when you slice into an orange, you get a little hint of like that tartness of. Yeah, I like it.
Yeah. So if you have any questions, if you're watching about what we're doing or what we're supposed to be doing or what we're doing wrong, drop them in the comments here or wherever they are. I don't know where they should. The screen that I see is always reversed, so I think it's over here. Right? Okay, so now we've got that done. We're going to get our timer ready, and we're going to use a timer to count up, and then we're going to add the hot water to the coffee. And what we want to do is when we're adding hot water to the coffee is we want to pour them in one quick go so that it fully hydrates the grounds. I like to pour pretty hard so it gets a lot of agitation, and then it just fully saturates the coffee so we get the best exposure and extraction, right? Right. So we're going to start our timer. Just go in one long pull, stop at the top. All right, now we're just going to wait. We're only 34 seconds, so just let that go. And yeah, there it is. There it is. So what's been happening, Matt? Anything interesting?
Getting ready for a super busy week.
Oh, yeah?
It's coming up to be like one of the busiest seasons for us.
Oh.
So
What's the, is it like more weddings for, Matt does events. Event catering with coffee.
Yeah, a lot of weddings, fall weddings. Well, I guess we're not even in fall, but this is like, I think, a very highly desired time to get married.
Oh.
So pretty much every weekend we have at least a wedding. Plus schools are going back, so all the private schools like, us to come serve their teachers. We have a bunch of corporate stuff this week in DC. So been roasting up late at night, roasting and prepping. This is over at my shop, putting my transit bar in.
Oh, nice.
The van.
Oh, the one that you open the doors in the back.
Yes.
Oh, yeah, nice.
Yeah. Yeah, we got two events this weekend using that. So,
yeah. Oh, okay.
Yeah.
All right. So while we're waiting for the 4 minutes to elapse, we want to smell the wet aroma. So which one of these you want to get down close? Inhale deeply. And then you can get an idea of what you like.
That one, I can't wait.
You still like that one?
Oh, yeah. I like that too.
I feel that where as the fragrance, it was really robust. To me, it's kind of diminished as aroma, as wet. Do you find, but you still like this one the most?
Yeah, I think it came out a little more like there's like a lot of floral. I smell like. It's almost like when you walk out in the spring and everything's dewy.
Okay.
It's like the dew came over it, and it brought out the dew. Yeah.
We're gonna do the dew. Nice.
And this one changed a lot from the wet aroma to.
Which one? This one?
Yeah, this one here.
Okay. All right, good. We're getting almost there. As you can see, we're waiting for 4 minutes. We're only at about just passing 3:35. But as you can see across the top here, there has been on this one over here. There's a lot of the coffee is still floating on top, right? And that's kind of what we normally see, and as well as here. But on these ones, they're progressively falling. Sometimes you'll have this sometimes the coffee will just precipitate out of the cap naturally, or sometimes because the table has been shook in some way. In this case, we haven't shooken the table because it's our bar, but sometimes it just falls, and we won't really have much of a break on these because there's no more cap. And so the next stage is to actually what we call breaking the cap. Is that what it's called?
Breaking the crust.
Breaking the crust. Yeah,
that's what you always told me.
Break. We do call it the break. It's been a while since
unless you've been making it up the whole time.
And so what you're going to do is you'll be able to take so what the idea is that under this cap there are the volatile aromatics that are kind of resting underneath it, right? It's underneath the cap, and so you want to let them free by putting your spoon in and pushing away, and keeping your nose really, really close to inhale deeply. Right? And so basically, how that works is I'll do this one. You can do the next one.
Okay.
You're gonna take your spoon, put it in, put your nose real close. Like if you touch your nose in the grounds, that's all right. And then breathe deeply as you push it away. Oops, maybe that will be. All right. I'm back. Now your turn. professional, like a professional. Excellent, excellent. Now, with these other ones, as you can see there, the caps are already gone. So you'll see people at different companies where they'll actually go here and do this, but I don't know what they're doing. They're madmen. But the next thing we're going to do is we're going to clean it off while we wait for the coffee to be ready. So we're just going to take 2 spoons and then use them in opposition to just go around the top and skim the tops. And then one thing to get into practice, we keep these rinse cups nearby. So between every time you use the cup, the spoon, you want to rinse it out. And what we're doing is removing any kind of surface material, foam, coffee grounds that are floating there. All right, nice, nice, nice. Okay, so now that that's done, we can replace our water in these cups. The nice thing about working here is that everything's relatively close. Now, a lot of times you'll have a spit cup because you don't have to spit. Like if you want to drink the coffee, you can. That's really up to you. There's a cup there for in case you want to use it now.
All right.
All right. All right. Where are we now? We are now at 7 minutes, 43 seconds. So we really kind of want to wait till it's close to 10 minutes of total time. That way we've had time for the coffee to brew, and then we've also had time for the coffee to cool and get to the point where you won't scald your palate.
Yeah. I noticed that with my espresso, if I'm pulling shots with a roast that I just did, like right out of the group head portafilter, tastes way different than if you let it sit for a minute or two sometimes.
Absolutely.
Yeah. I remember your competition you did over the winter. You made the judges wait. You're like,
did I make the weight?
Yeah. I think you're like, I think it tastes best at like however many minutes, and they were all like,
I don't even remember. I don't remember that detail. I was probably just bluffing them, to mess around with them a little bit. All right, almost 9 minutes.
What do you do to pass the time when you're waiting? See, I'm an impatient person. That's why I never cup. I just roast and I serve.
Oh, gotcha. Well, usually I'll just sit there and watch some TikTok. Yeah, that's it. That's always the fun way to pass time,
Man. Then they're gonna spy on you and get all your secrets about your coffee.
Oh yeah, that's right.
I heard TikTok spies.
Hey, that's all right. They can take my secrets. That's all right. But yeah, that's one thing that's interesting that I think about cupping is that it's a great way to share coffee with people to get a better understanding of what coffee's like. We like to bring a lot of some of our guests to come in and cup with us because that way they get to see more of the process. And this is only one small facet of the process of selecting coffee. So for example, like these are already like I wouldn't normally do 5 sets of one unless I'm really, really critically tasting a coffee. Like, for example, if I'm out at the field and I've got some coffee samples coming in, I will probably want to do multiple samples to see the consistency. But these are coffees that have already been selected by an importer, and they're sending us these. So we're just getting a taste, just a taste to see what they're like and maybe get into.
So they did all the hard work in the field.
They've done all the hard work. Yeah. Well, we hope they've done all the hard work. Hopefully you find a good importer to work with that has done all the hard work, and you mainly just have to taste and say, oh, well, this is good. And hopefully a good importer will have worked their coffees, and what they send you is representative of their entire lot rather than just a small sample of like one bag. Right?
Okay.
You know, because
So differences would be like growing locations, or
well, I mean, it all depends on the coffee. But let's say, like for example, it could be like let's say you buy from a co-op. The co-op has maybe hundreds of farmers growing coffee across a region,
Oh, okay.
and hopefully they have created whatever lot they put together is homogeneous enough that it's it has been blended well enough so that it's homogeneous, right? So that each let's say it's a 200 bag lot, each of those 200 bags should stay relatively the same.
Yeah.
All right, so we are now. Oh, now we've been talking a lot. So let's get into the tasting. What we're going to do is we're going to start from this end, Matt.
Okay.
Work our way to just because that's the progression. To do the cupping, you're just going to take a little bit of a sample here, just like that. And then you're going to bring it to your lips and you're going to slurp it. Think of a spray bottle, right? And the spray bottle has the stream and the spray bottle has the wide. Think of it like you're trying to do this across the interior of your mouth. And then, of course, between, you want to rinse your cup and then move on to the next one. Let's do one pass and then we'll discuss a little bit. And friend Gold Mountain Coffee Grower says, to what Jan Matt are saying, we are a Nicaraguan farming group, 100 farms, and we do our own import of coffee. Fantastic, fantastic. Any thoughts?
Yeah, I like a lot of them.
So we've been talking about this one that had really great fragrance and aroma.
Mm-hmm.
How do you feel about that now?
It's different from the fragrance to me than what I smelled. Yep.
In a favorable way or not so favorable way?
Favorable.
Okay.
Yeah. I think so far these two are my favorites.
What do you like about them?
I like there's like a after taste that lingers for me. Like there's just like the body, the overall.
So one of the things we're doing is we're tasting this over time. What you want to do is, ideally, you want to cup the coffees over a period of time because they will cool, right? And as the coffee cools down, the performance of the coffee may change in different ways. Sometimes it improves, sometimes it may not. But what you're trying to do is you want to taste it over this range so that you can get an idea of what your guest, your customer will experience with the coffee. And you can actually tell that this is what we poured first. Like as you're cupping through it, I don't know if you're getting this, but as it's getting warmer. It's still, this is warmer than this one.
Yeah. Yep. It is crazy how you go from the time differences, how drastic it changes.
Yeah, and that's just a matter of like
Like
the time that it took to pour.
Minutes. Yeah. I guess, I mean, that's representative because you serve a guest in a cafe. They're going to sit there on their laptop. You know,
Oh,
it's going to change. Yeah.
On their laptop.
Or whatever the kids use nowadays.
You know, a lot of my niece and nephew, they like to use their iPads.
Yeah, that's how yep,
I'm not very
my
good at
daughter,
that.
all about the iPad.
There's something really, I think, really nice and fruity, lightly astringent in this first cup.
I wasn't as crazy about this one the last taste, but since it's cooled, it's getting.
Yeah.
There's
really
different
nice.
notes coming out.
Yeah. So as it's cooling down, it's definitely opening up and expressing itself more. I'm feeling more excited about these two coffees again.
Yeah, I was into these.
Ooh, that has nice notes too. Oh, even that kind of.
I love it.
Like a creepy. I don't know.
At the end, there's almost like to me, like the back of your mouth gets kind of like a pucker after a while.
With this one?
With this one, yeah. And I can't quite pinpoint what it is, but I like it because it's makes you feel alive.
That is nice.
Mm. Oh man, that one is just wild. It's like a
this one.
Yeah.
This one is really. They're all kind of light though. They're all and they're. No, I was about to say they're fleeting in their aftertaste, but no, this one does linger. This one does linger. And Friends is asking, the room where you're cupping looks very cool. Oh, thank you. Where are you? We are actually at the Sprostery, my roastery, and this part of the cafe is the Cafe du Spro, which we opened in 2019 as a sit-down cafe. But then pandemic came in February or March of 2020, and so we shut this down and focused on our main location in the city. And at some point in time, I keep saying we're going to reopen, but really this is just our little workout space, and there's it's a fully operational bar, but it's just we're just using it for YouTubing right now.
Why not?
Why not? Let's see these other ones here.
So if you were a buyer and you're doing a cupping like this, are you going just based off of what you like and you want to match your program? Or like, let's say you wanted to try one of these with espresso, it's going to be probably different, right?
Yeah, but typically your taste. I found that we're tasting these or coffees, and then we're determining. Okay, we'll try this as an espresso.
Mm.
But like you're asking, like, is it what you like or is it what you need for your program? I think the answer is is both, and it depends on the situation because. Some of the coffees you just love and you just like want to buy.
Yeah, you just want to do it.
But my thing is that if I bought everything that I love, then I might only have a whole selection of coffees that taste within the same profile.
Yes.
Right.
Yes.
So I do buy coffees with the intention that I have to buy for a wide selection of guests.
Yeah. That's why I have nothing but plaid jackets.
Well, what more do you need?
Exactly.
My doctor is going to have to wait.
Oh, I think you should take the call live.
Hey, you need to come in. You're dying, and and I am now. Oh, coming at it this way, this has got Interesting.
Yeah, that's been my favorite. It's between these two. I do love this one here because it's just very interesting compared to your normal coffee.
Yeah.
Like it's
Yeah, I agree with that. So far, that's been one of my favorites as well. Now, one of the things you might notice, or maybe you won't notice, is, but like, we're not using any kind of score sheet today. Like, typically, a lot of people with their cupping coffees will use a score sheet that's supplied by the Specialty Coffee Association or CQI to grade their coffees. But this is not necessarily that formal or that critical a cupping in that respect. So we're really just kind of going through them. But if we were to think about scoring, I would say these are probably 84 to 86 coffees, just in general, without really sitting down and like critically like thinking about the 10 different parameters that we would use. But very nice coffees overall.
I'd give this one a
90.
91.
Yeah, very good. Very good.
We should check to see if we were right.
Oh, not yet. Not yet.
Not yet. We do
Well,
that.
there's no scores on these. I don't think there's no scores. Another thing that you might find interesting is that if you look at the cups, let me make sure that's out of the way, but what I find is that you'll see when you're doing cuppings with people, you'll kind of see which coffee a lot of the cuppers will favor because they'll taste that more.
Mm-hmm.
And the one that has lesser volume is the one typically that a lot of people like.
Ah, interesting.
One last round.
Yeah, we're getting pretty low in temp now. Yeah, they're all very, very nice. So, I mean, I'd drink any one of these. Mm. Mm.
This number one has some very pretty characters too.
Yeah, I'm still going with between this.
All right, if you had to choose your favorite coffee of the lot, which one would it be?
I'd say
That one.
Yep.
There is some nice fruit to it.
it's just far more interesting than your standard.
Yeah,
Right.
yeah. Medium bodied, really, that's very pretty.
Yeah.
Then what's your second favorite?
Between this and this is just wild. That's something that you don't drink every day.
So you think between these two?
Yeah, I'd probably have to go with this.
Okay.
Although I really like the body of this
Yeah,
one.
there's good body in
Very
that.
good.
Very good body in that one. This definitely does not have the body of that.
Mm-mm.
But it has this beautiful light.
So bright though. It's like floral, fruit.
Like I don't think I would want, like we're talking about espresso. I don't think I would want this at espresso.
Oh, it'd be wild. I
I
think.
think you would like to try it.
I would love to try
Oh,
it. Yeah.
See, to me, I think I'm not really a big, like, acidity for espresso kind of person.
Mm-hmm.
So I think I would love this more as a brewed coffee.
Mm-hmm.
But you know.
Yeah.
All right. So so for me, I think this would be probably my favorite. And then I would say this one, then this one, this one, this one, and then that one.
Mm-hmm.
In that order. Like this has really nice fruit tones.
Yeah, I usually don't tend to lean towards fruit, but
You're not much into natural coffees, right?
mm-mm.
Yeah, that's why. That's why.
They are all very similar. Like there's like a progression. I feel like
You want me to dump that cup out?
Sure,
Yeah,
sure,
it's
sure.
getting kind of dangerous. All right, there you are. All right, you're saying. So you're saying sorry?
They're pretty similar though. Like if
Yeah, I would agree with that.
if this was considered the rock and roll music genre, or they would be listening to the same
Right, like
thing.
this wouldn't be
Like this would be like Pearl Jam, and this would be Nirvana, or
right. But it's not like this would be like Perry Como and Metallica.
yeah.
Right, yeah. It's not that yet. It's definitely within a range of flavors and styles, but very nuanced. Okay, so here's the thing. So let's say, so obviously this is our least favorite
Mm-hmm.
of the 5.
Yep.
Not to say that that's a bad coffee or anything. It's very.
It's just not, but yeah.
But let's see what. I think this is one of the deeper roasts.
Mm-hmm.
But there's definitely, to me, there's a little bit more body, a little more heaviness. It's not as expressive, and I think that's probably where the changes are. Is that these are very expressive. This is not as expressive.
Yeah.
And I wonder if that's mainly due to the roast.
Maybe.
I don't know. It'd be
Yeah, like if you took that dark, it might.
Yeah, or lighter.
Or
lighter too.
Yeah, if I were to have to choose one to buy, though, it would probably be this, because I feel like it would shine every way I want it to. Like.
All right, I gotcha.
This may make a crazy wild cold brew. Can you imagine that?
Oh yeah. That reminds me. Like I had this cold brew from this SL28 variety cold brew once from Tonio Barantes at what's the name of the place? At Urban Zoo in Costa Rica.
Mm-hmm.
Similar in characteristics to that. Very similar. All right. Well, thank you very much. Have a great one. See you next time. No, I'm just messing around here. Just messing around. We should do the reveal. I know you want to know what we're tasting here. So, shall we show?
Let's do it.
All right. Let's have a look here. Now, we're going to take let's start off with the coffee that we found to be least exciting to us. And again, that's not to say that the coffee isn't very good. It is very nice. It's just that it somewhere has to end up on the out of 5. Something has to end up on the lower end of it. But let's have a look here. This is the Red Couture de Catuai from Don Francisco and Blanca Nieve. Nice. All right, now your favorite is this one.
Mm-hmm.
Let's see what that is. Oh, from Sabino and Maria Jesus, the pear notes micro lot. Oh, very nice. I think my favorite of the 5 was this one. Oh, it's a Managohipe, one of the big coffee beans, natural process. Oh, see, there it is. See, that's why we're going back to
personal preferences.
This is where the personal preferences come in. Like I'm a big fan, I'm much more a fan of naturals than washed overall. And you're more of a wash. I think
I love a washed, yeah.
But I was curious, the pear notes, that sounds very interesting.
Mm-hmm.
All right, so let's go. What was the...
I grew up in an orchard.
Oh.
Bingo.
Well, there it is. Which is the next one we should look at?
Look at this one.
All right, let's do it. Oh, I like
Guadalupe.
Oh, we're actually on the camera above. Sorry. So Guadalupe and the giant peach.
See,
That was very nice.
That was very nice.
I love the name. I love the name. That's a great name. All right, and then finally the last remaining coffee, which to me I think I went 1, 2. 1, 2. Did I go 3 and then 4 or 4 and 3? Whatever. All right. This one is from Don Roger and Isabel's Tropical Fruit Symphony. Oh, I like that.
Ooh,
Yeah, that's a nice one. All right.
I like how you did this with these flipped over for your, like, tasting, because what I will do is, like, subconsciously, if I read something before I'm cupping it, and then you look at the price per pound, I'll lean a little more towards, like, what I feel like I want to pay for it, which isn't fair in tasting, like, at all. Like, it should be like this. You're like,
right.
Well, I want the one that's,
The one that's $1.50, please. Yeah. Or you might say, I might sit there and be like, and tasting this and be like, oh, it tastes pear. No, you don't taste any pear.
Yeah,
You
just think you do. Yeah,
you read it on the thing. So
yeah.
All right. And Brian's asking, those will be the labels on the bag. These are the labels that came with the samples. So typically, what you'll do is you'll buy the coffee, and then you'll sell it and present it to your customers in a way that, and maybe whatever different way that you want. Meaning that maybe some of the coffees that you buy will go into a blend that you'll have a different name for, or you may offer that coffee as what do you call it, as a micro lot or as a single origin. So you'll offer it as that coffee individually. So there's many ways to actually work the coffees and give them names, and then you create the labels around them. But these labels here are strictly just what the importer has given us. So let's say if we were to buy this Maragogipe, you may use that. You could use it as its own, or you could put that in a blend and have a name for it. Great labels, not Luke Perry great, but you understand.
I mean, R.I.P.
You know, yeah. Moment of silence. All right, very good. All right, so any other questions? Any questions? Any things you might have? Oh, what we don't know is we don't know the pricing. So I have no idea what the pricing is on any of these coffees. So
I thought the pricing was in an email. No,
I didn't get an email. Only you get the emails.
Oh, I don't.
But they were good. I definitely would say that somewhere between 84 to 86, at the very least, maybe even higher. These are very nice coffees. Any other thoughts for you, man?
No, I'd love to try some, do different things with it, like maybe buy a bag to play with.
There you go.
Why not?
So the Pear Notes Microlot?
Yeah, I think it would be a toss-up between these two, because I think, well, cold brew season's starting to dwindle.
Right.
Although you never know, in this area, it could be 90 degrees in November. But
I think something like this one, the Don
Yeah.
could be a nice component to your espresso.
Yes.
Like,
Yes.
If I was considering for espresso, I would be considering this one and this one as a kind of blend. Like, I like to use coffees that blend together. Like, this doesn't necessarily have the heavier chocolate and nuttiness that I prefer, but it has some nice notes in it, that nice bassy notes. It's still on the brighter side for me, but I think there's some base notes that if you wanted to have a little more of a brighter kind of espresso, these two could go together well in different ratios.
And that's just,
I think that I'm just talking the top.
That's just trial and error. Of like, let's add 30% of this to.
Yeah.
There's so many aspects. I mean, you'd be like, let's take it darker. Let's add less. Let's add more, right?
Yeah. It's crazy. And the crazy thing is that years ago, I was at a friend of mine who's an importer. Is an importer in Africa. And I thought that I understood single origins, and then he's like, we're cupping coffees.
Yeah.
That are from the same plot of land. One plot of land, right? Different days. Oh, wow. God, that just kind of messed me up. I was like, oh God, now I'm more confused than ever.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm a simple man. I need as little variables as.
Just give it to me this way. We're done. That's fine. All right, Bethany, if you're watching, thanks very much for the samples.
Thanks.
And, yeah, let us know. All right. Thanks, Matt, for coming out.
Yeah,
Appreciate
totally.
you being here as always.
It's fun.
Thank you, guys. So that's the end of our week of Coffee Q&A. We're going to be back again next week. I don't have any trips planned this next week, so I think next week what we're going to do is actually my plan is we're going to start off and we're going to see the progression of coffee throughout the week. Like how much does the CO2 interfere with the coffee after roasting? Like we always talk about, like, it takes so many days after roasting, and there's an occlusion point. So what we're going to do on Monday, we're going to start off by roasting some coffee and tasting it, and then we're going to taste it every day next week to see how it changes. All right, so thank you very much for tuning in. See you guys next time, and have a great weekend.
Cool. Yeah, I thought there were prices.